Hey everyone, it's Captain Nathaniel, Lemmon, FloridaSightFishing.com, and I'm here to bring you my December 2024 report, and this is actually New Year's Eve, so it is the last day of the year, and I'm here to give you one last report. This report's kind of a unique one because this is when I do my annual slideshow, and I talk to you about how great of a year it's been and everything that we've caught. In addition to that, though, I'm also going to talk to you about what we've been catching in the last few weeks, because it's been really good here, and I'm in Mosquito Lagoon right now today. It's been really good fishing in the shallow water for the last couple months, and we're really on the cusp of having some fantastic fishing over the next couple months. As the water levels continue to drop, we see bigger schools of fish, but we're literally targeting any and everything right now. But let me get back to this slideshow real quick, because this is it's one of my favorite things to do of the year, but it's also probably complete transparency. It's one of the hardest things I have to come up with every year. I take 1,000 pictures a year of everybody catching fish on my boat, and we catch a lot of unique and memorable fish, but somehow I have to break that down into 50 photos that are basically my favorites, or really memorable trips, or just unique catches that we had. So hopefully you see yourself in here. Not everybody will get to. In fact, there's many people each year is like, I didn't see myself in the slideshow. And you're right, it's very hard for me to get in there. I try to pick out, some for everybody, but I know that there's definitely dozens of people that are going to be left out this year. So it's definitely of no offense, and hopefully that means that we've got some merits to get back out there again and do it again this year, so maybe you can get a picture in here next year. So hopefully you see yourself. You're going to see them popping up over my shoulder. I got 50 of them to include in this report, but it's been a fantastic year. I mean, I have to talk about how great 2024 is, because while a lot of people complained about different things for this year, man, what a fantastic year I had for fishing. This has definitely been a record-breaking year for me. I've done more charters this year than I ever have, and that includes taking a lot of time off for myself, but we have caught a ton of fish. I've fished with people from almost 35 different states. I've seen at least over 400 people have been on my boat this year, and like I said, we've caught thousands of fish, so it's been a fantastic year. I really hope 2025 can be nearly as good as this year, because we've seen a really great rebound in our fishery over the last couple of years, and it continues to get better and better, and it's really trending back to the way it used to be, or what you saw 10, 15 years ago. We're starting to get back in that range again. So I'm going to keep sending some more pictures up of this slideshow from some of the memorable catches for the year. But let's talk a little bit about what I've been fishing for lately and what you can kind of expect over the next couple months, because it's pretty much not going to change from now until early spring. This is the time of the year where we spend almost every day sight fishing as much as we can, or fishing the shallow water of Mosquito Lagoon and the Indian River Lagoon pretty much every day. We get cold fronts this time of the year that tend to drop our water levels. It drops the water temperature, the water gets ultra clear, and those are all recipes for schooling fish. So redfish has been the #1 priority and staple of the year, because it's been so good, and it continues to be good. It was phenomenal October, November. It's tapered off a little bit, only in that the fish are pretty rangy right now. When we find a school of fish, they're not sitting still. It hasn't gotten cold and low enough yet to keep bringing them back to the same places. There are days this time of the year where we catch 50 to 100 redfish. It just really depends on the water and the weather setup for us. But when it gets a little bit warmer like we've had lately, the fish can kind of get rangy, and they're swimming away. So as we catch a couple, we have to track them back down again. They're going to stick around, and there will be no slowdown on redfish from now till the spring. It should just continue to get better and better. We'll see definitely days of 20 plus redfish a day. We've had those recently, but we'll also see days where there's 50 to 100 of them being caught. So hopefully you're on one of those trips that it happens for us. In addition to redfish, we've been really catching a lot of black drum. We're seeing some really big schools of black drum already. I will throw a picture in here right now of a charter that I did today of a brother and sister that fish with me quite a bit, and I took them out into the lagoon this morning, and we found about 200 black drum that were all schooled up tailing for us, and they pulled out this double right here. So I'm seeing multiple schools of black drum that have hundreds of fish They range anywhere from 5 to 12 to 13 pounds on average. We do see some humongous schools of gigantic, just world-class trophy-sized black drum that'll be 40 to 50, 60 plus pounds. We see those this time of the year from now, between now and February, that they'll be hanging around. So I haven't seen them yet. They haven't showed up yet, but it should be any time now that we'll start to see them. We can catch a lot of black drum a day. It can be 10, 15, 20 of them a day. So you're going to notice one trend that is this time of the year. While we don't catch as many big fish like we do in the summertime, we definitely catch more numbers of fish this time of year. It's definitely all about activity and trying to find the bite that produces, you know, the most number of fish for us a day. So redfish every day, black drum every day, snook are another thing we fish pretty much every day. This cold weather that we have this time of the year really schools the snook up by the hundreds, and if you know what you're doing and know where those holes are, it's easy fishing. We've started out a lot of mornings just catching snook just to get the day started. We'll catch 10, 15 of them. Say, let's go do something different. Most of them are short ones, small ones. We do catch some bigger ones, but a lot of them are on the smaller side. The bigger ones, we see tons of them, but they're pretty lethargic when it gets kind of cold. So we tend to not get a lot of those to bite till we get further into the spring, but we can definitely catch dozens of them every day of small snook. We sight cast them, we use plastic lures, we use live bait, live shrimp. We can catch them pretty much anyway, and it's great. I mean, we're just pitching it into the school, watching them come right out and eat them. So redfish, black drum, snook, and our last option this time of year really is speckled trout. We've caught quite a few of those. We're generally catching most of them on lures right now. Just working the grass flats and catching dozens of speckled trout. We've also spent a couple days lately free lining and fishing live bait for some big ones. We did pick up a couple 25, 26 inchers last week. We really need some colder weather to drive them back up into the shallow water again, where we see the biggest, if you want to see the biggest speckled trout of the year, it's going to happen in the next 2 months. When the water's cold, clear, and low, we routinely every year see multiple speckled trout over 10 pounds. They are very hard to catch because they're lethargic as well. But if you have the patience and you want to stick it out, this is the time of the year where we can catch a giant. But we have some other places where we go to where we catch a lot of smaller ones, 15 to 20 inches on average. You know, an average trout's 12 to 14 inches, but we catch a lot of those 12 to 20 inch range trout throwing lures and live shrimp this time of the year. So it's a little bit of everything. It's a great time of the year to come out and get a slam. We can usually cover redfish. I mean, today we got 3 species. Every day is usually some redfish, black drum, trout, or snook. So it's a great time of the year to bring the family out. It's a great time of the year to bring kids out. We catch a lot of fish this time of the year. So, and look, honestly, there's worse places to be than Florida in January. I mean, I've seen the weather forecast for what we have coming after New Year's and what we have coming next week. There is some frigid cold weather moving into the east coast of the U.S. We're forecasted here to have some nights into the 20s. Hopefully that doesn't pan out. Makes for a really cold day, but multiple days in the 50s. So there's worse places to be where you're dealing with snow than being on a boat out here in January. Okay, so hope you liked a lot of these pictures I've been throwing up over my shoulder, or either shoulder. But those are about 50 of my favorite photos, or photos that I really, liked, or some other people commented on, or just memorable trips that we had throughout the year. So I hope that you saw yourself in one of these in this year's slideshow. If you didn't, let's get back out and fish again and find you a photo to be in there next year. Okay, so it is really hard for me to pick it out. So hopefully you found yourself in there. Until next time, these are a monthly feature for me, so definitely subscribe to the channel. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. And until next time, tight lines. Bye-bye.